Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. We appreciate you watching 13 News at 4. So we have more on those headlines in just a moment, plus the travel troubles at airports nationwide.
Today, the FAA expanded its list of air traffic control centers facing staff shortages because of the government shutdown. They've seen an increase in the number of controllers calling in sick. They're all working, remember, without pay right now. The issues have caused flight delays and cancellations at airports across the country. We'll take a look at that ahead as well. But first, to the story we have been following very closely today, new developments in a 26-year-old cold case.
A woman reported missing here in Indianapolis back in 1999. The disappearance is now part of the state's newly formed cold case unit. Marina Silva is here with a look at one case that came back this week.
It was 22 years ago that human remains were found near Spencer, and this week investigators were able to use DNA evidence to identify the woman as Deanna Smith. Smith was reported missing in 1999. Her case is one of the first ones the newly formed Indiana State Police Cold Case Unit took on. Now, in 2003, when these remains were found in Owen County, multiple agencies stepped in to figure out who they could be. It wasn't until this week that DNA evidence that was collected at the scene came back, and it was positively identified as Smith. Detective Tony Walden is one of the detectives on the case. She credits crime scene detectives from 2003 for this ID.
Work that they did where they would collect so much stuff at scenes to help us out later without even knowing that that technology was going to be there yet. And so we have a lot of cold cases that we are really thanking our old crime scene techs for really stepping up the bar and trying to think ahead of things that we may need.
Indiana State Police is investigating this as a homicide, so they're looking for anyone who had contact with her back in 1999 to reach out. Back to you.
All right, Marina. And this afternoon, we're working to get an update on the investigation into former NFL quarterback and Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez.
He already faces a felony battery charge for an attack over the weekend on a 69-year-old man in downtown Indy. This week, the prosecutor's office said it plans to serve more search warrants, calling this just the beginning of the investigation.
So we're reaching out now to see where those efforts stand. We do know the alleged victim is now suing Sanchez and Fox Corporation after he said he suffered severe permanent disfigurement as a result of the fight.
And we want to warn you, the photos we're about to show you, the photos of the injuries are graphic. According to the victim's lawyers, the victim sustained significant injuries to his head, neck, and jaw. Tonight, we're hearing from one of those lawyers about the attack and this new legal battle. We'll bring you that update ahead tonight on 13 News at 5.
Also today, President Trump says he remains hopeful Middle East peace negotiations will be successful amid the 2-year anniversary of the October 7th attacks.
Here's Richard Engel.
Across Israel, there were somber gatherings to mark the moment 2 years ago when several thousand Hamas terrorists killed more than 1,200 Israelis and kidnapped around 250, including women and children. In southern Israel, they paid respects to the more than 370 victims murdered at the Nova Music Festival. Gal Gilboa Delal was at the festival with his brother Guy. They were leaving in separate cars when suddenly Hamas swooped down and began shooting and launching grenades. The brothers were separated, and Guy was dragged into Gaza.
I keep thinking about the moment he didn't go in my car, how things could have gone differently. And even there, I was speaking with God the whole time. I was telling him, take me and save my brother.
But on this day of pain and remembrance, hopes for diplomacy are rising. In Egypt, President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, are pushing talks to implement the president's peace plan. The people of Gaza are also waiting. Local medical officials say more than 67,000 have been killed by Israeli attacks there. This was Gaza 2 years ago, and this is what's left of Gaza today. Trump's plan would drive Hamas from power and free the 48 hostages Hamas is still holding, 20 believed to be still alive, including Gal's brother, Guy.
Is there a way you could even summarize what these 2 years have been like?
Every day is a new process of losing your hope and getting them up again. We only have one goal. We only care about bringing back Guy and the hostages back And for that, we stay strong and we keep fighting. I just hope this nightmare will end soon and I will see him again.
President Trump is sounding optimistic.
I think we're going to have a deal. Get commercial.
Yeah.
All right, to the weather now.
And this sometimes sunny, sometimes dreary day. It kind of depends when you look out the window what you see.
Sometimes rainy, sometimes dry.
Yes, a mix right here that we're looking at.
Sean, did you tell us earlier, maybe I misheard you, one part of our viewing area got 6
Well,
inches?
I had a viewer send me their rain gauge that was from Gnawbone of 6 inches. Now, I had someone over in Connersville show me their gauge of 3 inches. So
Wow.
there is and I'll show you here, there's a path south of I-70 where we were thinking yesterday, the heaviest rain. Now, on average in that zone from Bloomington to Richmond, about 1.5 to 2 inches. But again, some locations there from just east of Lake Monroe to Greensburg, 2.5 to over 3 inches of rain. Now, this is what's left of it, and that was our best chance of widespread rain, by the way, over the next 7 to 10 days. A little sunshine trying to develop here, and enough so that boosted our temperature up to 80 degrees in Indianapolis. We're at 77 right now. Look to the northwest, Monticello, Peru, Lafayette in the 60s, where the temperature change compared to this time yesterday is almost 20 degrees lower. That's what's on the way. Here's the view from around the metro area. Look, as we look downtown, you see some rays of sunshine, north wind beginning to kick in here, and that is going to drag us down into the 40s overnight tonight. Now, I want to get you updated on the roadways here. And I will tell you, earlier today, when Lindsay was on Sunrise, when I was on noon, we didn't have the heavy rain, but we had just enough rain to cause a lot of accidents, put a little glaze on the roadways here. Just typical backups here in downtown, but we do have a crash. This is 70 eastbound, just to the west of 465, and they're still working on this, so that right lane is closed right now. And that's going to cause you some slowdowns. This is 70 coming out of the city here. We'll be looking out for this as we move through the next hour or so. But much to discuss in the weather. For us autumn air fans, we are going to be loving life here over the next several days. More on that and the potential for some patchy frost ahead in the forecast.